Hello and welcome to Auto News Talk. We are really glad to have you with us for this one.
Absolutely.
Because if you've been looking at the industry numbers lately or just walking a dealer lot, you might be feeling like the auto world is waking up with a, a massive throbbing hangover.
Yeah, the 3-year party is definitely over.
It really is.
And it feels like the lights have been turned up aggressively bright.
That is the perfect way to describe the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we spent years riding that wave of inventory shortages, massive dealer markups, limitless EV hype, and, all these digital tools promising to automate absolutely everything.
Right.
But looking at the landscape we're walking through for this segment, the music has stopped.
Yeah.
We're in a moment of, I guess you'd call it sobriety.
Sobriety is the right word, or perhaps the great recalibration.
The great recalibration, I like that.
Because it's a theme that runs through all the different signals we're seeing in the market. Whether it's the actual metal sitting on the showroom floor, the back-end data used to value that metal, or even just the search strategies dealers are using to move it, everything is shifting back to precision, affordability, and the fundamentals.
It's a return to basics, but with much higher stakes than before. So we're going to connect some dots for you that might look separate on the surface, but are actually telling the exact same story.
Starting with the metal itself.
Right, starting with the most tangible piece of the puzzle, the cars, specifically Jeep. If you want a symbol of this recalibration, just look at what is happening over at Stellantis.
It is a fascinating, if painful, case study in market rejection.
Yeah.
There's some really in-depth reporting from the drive that lays bare the whole situation. Jeep is hitting a hard reset.
And the headline number there, the one that everyone's talking about, is the pricing correction on the V8 Wrangler 392 Final Edition.
Yeah.
We aren't talking about a $500 customer cash incentive here. The piece in the drive highlights a reported price cut of roughly $30,000.
$30,000?
I mean, that is the price of an entire Toyota Camry just erased from the sticker price.
It's unprecedented. The report notes that some Wrangler trims had drifted all the way up to the $100,000 mark.
6 figures for a Wrangler.
Exactly. And the market looked at that and just said, no, we're not doing that. This cut is an aggressive, almost desperate attempt to drag the brand back to this idea of attainable ruggedness.
But think about the dealer sitting on that inventory.
Oh, it's brutal.
If you're holding a unit at the old invoice price and the MSRP drops 30 grand overnight, your floor plan is suddenly toxic.
Yeah.
You are completely underwater on brand new metal.
You are. And what's wild is that it isn't just the price tag that's correcting. The actual engineering and powertrain strategy is being completely shuffled.
Right. The recalibration is hitting the engines hard.
The drive reported that Jeep has actually ended production of the Wrangler 4xZ plug-in hybrid.
Which is so surprising because the 4xZ was a sales leader. It was the best-selling PHEV in the U.S. for quite a while. Why kill a winner?
It's likely a mix of an inventory glut and a sudden pivot to what they can build and sell profitably in this exact environment, because they're also pivoting to bring back the Cherokee with a standard hybrid powertrain, aimed squarely at grabbing that Toyota RAV4 volume.
Makes sense.
And they are refreshing the Grand Cherokee with what they call the Baby Hurricane Turbo 4-cylinder.
Let's pause on the Baby Hurricane for a second. For the non-gearheads listening, this is a 2.0-liter Turbo 4 that is replacing the big Hemi V8s and the Pentastar V6s in a lot of applications.
Right.
It's high output, but it is a crystal clear signal that the era of big displacement is dead at Jeep.
It is. It's a move toward efficiency and also global engine commonality. But this transition creates a massive gap. Dealers are losing the prominent plug-in hybrid they relied on the Wrangler 4, and the pure EVs they were promised are delayed. The reporting indicates the Wagoneer S felt, quote, unfinished in early drives, and the Recon EV is simply not here yet.
So the dealers are just caught in the middle, the V8s are priced way too high, the EVs aren't ready, and the hybrids are being shuffled around. And to pile on top of all of that, the service bays are just clogged with recalls.
The volume there is staggering. The drive cites reports of over 450,000 Ram trucks and Jeeps recalled for trailer brake software issues.
Wow.
Plus another 80,000 Jeeps recalled because suspension springs might literally detach from the vehicle.
Which is a nightmare for throughput. You cannot legally retail a car with an open safety recall. So you have inventory you can't sell, pricing that is collapsing, and a service department stuck doing warranty work instead of high-margin customer pay.
It creates a landscape of extreme volatility.
Absolutely.
And if you're a lender or a dealer principal and you see a manufacturer slash an MSRP by 30%, Your immediate panic-inducing question has to be, what is the rest of my portfolio actually worth?
Which brings us perfectly to the second pillar of our discussion, data. Because volatility kills confidence.
It does.
If I am leasing a car to someone, I am making a bet on what it will be worth in 3 years. If Jeep changes the math in an instant, my residual value forecast from yesterday is just garbage.
That is the multi-million-dollar problem the industry is facing. And it's exactly why the return of Kazana is such a timely story for us to look at.
Yeah, for those who operate in or watch the European market, Kazana was a huge name in automotive data.
A major player. Kazoo bought them a few years back for something like £25 million, specifically to power their online sales engine.
But then Kazoo imploded.
Right, Kazoo the retailer imploded.
Yeah.
But the data engine underneath that business was actually incredibly solid. So now, the announcement shows that Precaiso Vehicle Intelligence has revived the Kazana brand after a very long redevelopment period.
And looking at the source material on this relaunch, it makes it clear this isn't just some nostalgic paint job on old software.
Yeah, not at all.
So what is the actual value proposition here? Because the market is already flooded with book values, right? You've got Cap HPI, Glasses, Black Book. What does Kazana do differently that actually matters in a volatile market?
The key phrase to understand here is advanced RV modeling or residual value optimization.
Okay.
In a stable, boring market, you can look at historical auction data, what the industry calls wholesale up, to guess a car's value.
Sure, because history repeats itself.
Exactly. But in a volatile market, looking at wholesale data is like driving while only looking in the rearview mirror. You're going to crash. Kazana focuses on a retail-back methodology.
A retail back?
Yes. They scrape millions of retail listings continuously to see what cars are actually being advertised for right now, and crucially, how long they are sitting on the lot at that price.
Right, so instead of a book telling you, well, this car sold at auction for $20,000 a month ago, Kazana is saying this exact car is currently sitting on 50 different lots at $22,000, and it is not moving.
Exactly. It gives lenders and dealers a live view of risk. The reporting highlights that finance companies are desperate for this level of granularity. If a manufacturer loses 30% of a vehicle's sticker price overnight, a standard smooth depreciation curve is worse than useless.
It's actively dangerous to your bottom line.
Lenders need to know those real-time market signals to adjust their risk exposure immediately before they write bad paper.
The launch announcement also talked a lot about integrations. They mentioned Motors, Experian, Cardo Trade, AUCA. It seems like they are really trying to solve the toggle tax.
Oh, the toggle tax is very real and very expensive. Dealers lose so many hours just switching between a stock screen, a pricing screen, and a history check. Kazana is explicitly trying to be the unified feed.
But, you know, the most interesting signal to me in the Precaiso announcement wasn't even the software itself. It was the personnel.
Oh, the appointment of Darren Martin.
Yes. They appointed him to lead market insight. And he is a heavyweight in that sector.
He absolutely is. And bringing him on board signals that algorithms alone just aren't enough anymore.
Right.
You can have all the AI data scraping in the world, but when the market behaves completely irrationally, like that Jeep pricing crash, you need a human expert to interpret why it is happening.
Yeah, you need someone to look at the numbers and say, this isn't a trend, this is a panic.
Exactly. It reinforces this growing theme that we need human intelligence layered over the raw data.
Which is a perfect segue. So we have the product pricing correcting and we have the data tools trying to keep up. But there is a very real physical problem we need to talk about. The actual stuff we are selling is degrading.
This is the sleeping giant of the whole industry. There's a really stark warning coming from the Vehicle Remarketing Association, the VRA, along with Carrier over in Europe. They are raising a massive red flag.
The source material outlines a panel discussion they had, warning everyone about the aging vehicle park.
And this is purely a hangover from the supply chain crisis, right? We basically stopped making new cars for a couple of years, so the used fleet is just naturally getting older and older.
We are missing millions of those prime 3-year-old lease returns. They simply do not exist because they were never built.
Right.
So dealers are being forced to retail 5, 6, even 7-year-old cars to fill their lots. But here's the kicker: dealers are buying this older stock remotely. They are buying sight unseen from digital auctions.
And that is exactly where the friction is happening. Because average condition for a 3-year-old car is pretty predictable. But average condition for a 7-year-old car, that is a total gamble.
Especially now. And the definition of condition has undergone massive scope creep.
Oh, completely.
10 years ago, Vehicle grading was about paint chips, tire tread depth, maybe looking for cigarette burns on the seats. But the expert speakers at the VRA event noted that today, you have to grade electronics health and ADS safety systems.
That is a crucial distinction, because if I buy a car with a scratch on the bumper, I can fix that for a couple $100 in my own body shop.
Right, it's a known cost.
But if I buy a car remotely, and it arrives, and the lane keep assist camera is fried, or the adaptive cruise radar is misaligned, that requires a proprietary dealer calibration. That could easily be $2,000.
And that completely destroys your margin on that unit.
Instantly. The VRA source heavily emphasizes this concept of cost to cure. If you buy an older car from a digital auction and the grading report missed a failing sensor or a degraded EV battery, your cost to cure skyrockets.
You might own the car for more than you can possibly sell it for, and it hasn't even reached your lot yet.
It seems like trust is the only currency that actually matters in that transaction. If I cannot physically touch the car, I have to trust the grade completely.
And that is exactly why they are pushing so hard for international standards. The collaboration with KRO in Europe is all about creating a common language. If grade B means one thing in London, something slightly different in Berlin, and something else entirely in Manchester, the whole digital auction model breaks down.
It falls apart.
The VRA is arguing that without standardized high-tech grading, specifically including battery health for EVs, and those 80s checks, dealers are just going to stop bidding. The risk is simply too high.
So let's try to visualize the dealer principal's headache right now.
It's a big headache.
Manufacturer pricing is totally unstable. You need high-tech retail back modeling just to guess what a car is worth on any given Tuesday. And the cars you can actually source are older, riskier, and might be hiding massive electronic failures.
It's an operational minefield.
It really is.
So naturally, the dealer looks at all this and asks, how do I find more customers to outrun these problems? And for a while now, the loud buzzword answer from every consultant has been AI search.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is screaming that you need to optimize your site for ChatGPT,
Right.
or you will go out of business.
And this is where our final piece of the puzzle comes in with the giant bucket of cold water. We're looking at a playbook for AI search, published specifically for dealers.
And the headline takeaway from that playbook.
Stop panicking, just stop. The data simply does not support the hype.
I love a contrarian take that actually has numbers behind it. What does the traffic data actually say?
The source cites a really revealing study across 150 dealerships. They looked closely at the referral traffic coming from large language models, so your ChatGPTs, your Geminis, your Claudes, was only 0.5% of the opportunity compared to traditional organic search.
0.5%?
Yes.
That is literally a rounding error.
It is statistically irrelevant for selling cars right now. The source argues strongly that dealers are over-indexing on technical tricks. There's this whole cottage industry of consultants selling robots, .txt tweaks, and geoschema overhauls, promising that the secret codes will get you recommended by the AI bots.
And the playbook says what?
The playbook says ignore all of that. It's basically snake oil.
But we do know search behavior is evolving. People are asking longer questions. If we ignore the robot tricks, what is the actual proven strategy?
The answer the playbook gives is surprisingly old school. They call it human SEO.
Human SEO. Break that down for me. What does that actually look like on a dealership website?
It means writing content that answers the specific, messy, complicated questions that actual humans have. So not just slapping up a page that says 2025 Jeep Wrangler for sale near me over and over.
Right.
It's writing a detailed page titled, "Is it better to lease or buy a Wrangler in this economy?" Or, "How does the new Cherokee Hybrid compare to the RAV4 for commuting in our specific city?"
So providing actual localized value rather than just stuffing keywords.
Precisely. The argument is that Google's core algorithms and even the AI bots ultimately are trained to reward clear human expertise.
They want the real stuff.
They want to see that you actually know the product and understand the local market context. If your site is just AI-generated fluff, the AI will ignore it because it adds absolutely no value to its own training data.
The source mentioned a really specific success story regarding the backyard bubble. I thought this was a brilliant example of practical application.
It's a fantastic case study. There was a dealer who realized they were only ranking for search terms in their immediate town, their own backyard bubble. To break out of that, they didn't buy some AI software suite.
What did they do?
They just built human-generated pages about all the towns surrounding them, real guides, genuine local info. And over a period of time, they expanded their footprint regionally without relying on tricks.
And there was a quantifiable result from a store in Michigan too, right?
Yes, a mid-Michigan Ford store.
Okay.
Not a prime location, they are 30 miles outside of a major metro area. They kept their search budget incredibly modest, under $10,000.
Which is nothing in automotive marketing.
Exactly. And they focused entirely on this steady human SEO approach and maintaining perfectly clean inventory feeds. And they sold 12% more vehicles year over year.
12% growth without blowing the budget on magic tools is seriously impressive.
And you know, it actually connects right back to the Kazana story.
How so?
The playbook mentions that AI search favors whoever has the most accurate matching inventory. So having clean data feeds, accurate price, exact trim, correct mileage is critical. If your data is messy, the AI simply cannot recommend your car to a user. It is boring, back-end administrative work, but it is what actually wins.
It's always the fundamentals. So let's pull this all together. We have covered Jeep's massive pricing reset, Kazana's return to fixed data modeling, the VRA's warnings about grading physical cars, and this reality check on AI search.
Right.
When you look across these four distinct areas, what is the synthesis? What is the overarching narrative of the auto industry right now based on these sources?
I think there are two massive, slightly conflicting themes at play here.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first is precision overhype. We see Jeep cutting the fluff and, frankly, cutting the prices to get back to market reality. We see the AI playbook explicitly saying to ignore the hype and look at the 0.5% data reality. We are officially done with the era of growth at all costs. Now it is entirely about accuracy and execution.
That brings us right back to the sobriety we talked about at the top of the show. So what is the second theme?
The second is the tension between digital speed and physical reality.
Tell me more about that.
Well, the industry is trying to digitize everything, right? Remote buying, AI search, algorithmic, instant pricing. But the physical reality of the metal is fighting back. The cars themselves are getting older and much harder to grade accurately. The recalls on the lot are physical, safety-critical hardware issues that a software update cannot always fix. And even in digital marketing, that human SEO requires an actual person to sit down and understand the metal.
That is a really profound observation. The auto industry desperately wants to be a scalable software business, but it is still fundamentally a messy hardware business.
Exactly. Everyone wants to buy a car instantly online, just like ordering a toaster on Amazon. But that car might have an unfinished suspension recall, or a bad ADAS sensor that the automated auction grade completely missed, or a price tag that is about to drop $10,000 because the manufacturer vastly overestimated demand.
The digital world demands speed, but the physical world is complicated and slow.
Precisely.
So for the dealer principal or the industry professional listening to this, if they have to go into their Monday morning meeting and make a decision based on all this, what is the practical takeaway?
Stop looking for the magic bullet.
Yeah.
Every piece of source material we reviewed is screaming that there is no single software update or secret AI trick or shiny new EV launch that will save your quarter. The winners are the ones executing the boring fundamentals better than anyone else.
Do the work.
Accurate, market-responsive pricing, honest, standardized grading of your used inventory so you don't get burned on the cost to cure, and helpful, genuinely human content on your website that actually builds trust with a buyer.
It is incredibly unsexy advice. Just do your homework.
It is unsexy. But in a recalibration market, the boring, fundamentally sound businesses are the ones that actually survive and grow.
Very true. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought to chew on. We talked a lot about consensus today without really using the word.
Oh, that's interesting.
Think about it. The AI search source mentioned that AI looks for consensus in local reviews to decide which dealer to recommend. The VRA is begging for consensus on grading standards across all of Europe so dealers can buy safely. The whole Kazana retail-backed model is just the market looking for consensus on what a Jeep is actually worth right now.
That is a powerful way to frame it. Consensus is really just the measurable metric of trust.
Exactly. And here's the provocative thought for you. In a world where AI can generate infinite amounts of content and manufacturer pricing is incredibly volatile, consensus might be the only asset you cannot fake.
Wow.
You cannot fake 1,000 consistent, positive local reviews. You cannot fake a standardized, verifiable physical inspection history on a 7-year-old car.
That is so true. In the past, having exclusive information was power. In this new, recalibrated market, Having verified information is power. The dealer who can prove through that consensus that their car is real, their price is fair, and their advice is genuinely human is the dealer who wins.
Verified reality. I think that is the goal for everyone moving forward. Well, that is all the time we have for this deep dive into the state of the market. Thanks so much for listening to Auto News Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Keep an eye on your human metrics, your review response times, and your physical inspection reports, rather than just staring at your digital ad spend. We will see you next time.